Roll call.
Yeah. Krista? Here. Josh?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Richard?
Here.
Cheryl? Here. Frank?
Here.
Oscar?
Yes, ma'am. And approval of the agenda. Anybody got anything to add? Not, I entertain motion to approve it. So moved. Second. Oscar motion by Oscar and second by Eric, or Josh, to approve the agenda as written. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes. You did the last one. You did the last one you did?
I second.
Motion by Josh, second by Eric to approve the minutes as written. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Anybody here for the public forum or just here for the public hearing?
I am.
You here
That's
for
fine.
the,
Do you want it for the hearing or just the form?
No, he said public forum.
yeah.
There's not a hearing on the discussion, is there?
What's that?
There's not a, there's no hearings, there's no hearings
Okay.
tonight.
There's a public hearing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
public
there is a
hearing.
public hearing tonight.
On,
Is there conditional use?
it says no input in the packet.
Oh, I
So
don't
that
know
would
about
mean no hearing.
No, there's still a hearing, but public input is not considered.
Okay.
What's,
Because of the situation, right?
So then it's not really a hearing.
It still has to be.
Well, I guess-
Okay, so you got this written down. Are you wanting to talk?
Yeah.
I want to talk on the item that's coming up, so the only time to talk about it is now in public forum.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, tell me why there's gonna be no input on the other.
You still have a conditional use and talks amongst yourself, but it's because of the,
Right. When we get to the staff report, Richard, I'm not trying to blow you off. I will discuss it.
But I would like to talk for public forum, please.
When's the staff report?
During the public hearing, when I give my report,
Oh, okay,
yes, sir.
okay. Then go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jenny Harris, 109 West Chippewa Street, Planning Commission members. I'm going to talk on, I don't know what item it is. It's that when you're going to do your discussion review on the updates.
10A.
Thank you, 10A. I am asking that you say no to Amendment 14.6, administrative adjustments, that it not be added to the City of Kechi. You'll get to that later in the evening. It's said that it's discussing peer cities. Hayesville has a population of 11,471 people. Derby has a population of 27,000 plus people. Miller has a population of over 10,000 people. While Kechi, according to your packet, states 2,900. So we're talking about cities that are 3 to 9 times larger than the city of Kechi. So it is not a same comparison. I do believe the Planning Commission should continue to make all of the decisions regarding zoning, subdivision, etc. I don't think we should change it into administrative adjustments. And I will be speaking this against at council when it comes to council. The highway signage, when that came up for Casey's, we had a city administrator who indicated that would only be considered from Woodlawn to Rock. What's going to be before you now tonight is the entire length of the highway, the city limits of Kechi. That is not who Kechi is. I have no issues with it being in the industrial district, so I'm also asking you to not allow it to be across our city border along Highway 254. It's in your packet.
Well, you talk real fast. I'm trying to catch up. Are you talking about the sign over here?
Yeah, so
sign.
it was said that, it
So
was
we
said,
talked about that last time, right?
yes, but they're actually,
From Woodlawn to Rock Road, remember?
yes,
That was where it was, yeah.
yes.
And
But
then
they're
they
now
want to
proposing
change
the
that.
whole entire length of K 254 for a new sign.
Okay, so you're just like you're just hitting everything.
I am,
Yeah, okay.
because I don't get to,
Yeah.
I can't talk
Do it
into it
all.
later when it's your item.
Okay.
So, and then I want to address SB 418, which is in regard to, I had proposed a cap on duplexes, 20%. Ms. McKay said 25%. She agreed. However, legislation was passed this year that everyone has a right to housing, and so now they're changing the rules. And it's going to be in your packet. Dustin will be going over that. One thing that I would like to bring up is ask you to do additional investigation, because I read through the bill. How many of you read through the bill prior to coming tonight? Okay, that's okay. Most people don't. I would really highly suggest you don't read it from a third-party perspective. Please go to kslegislature.gov and look up SB 418 to get the actual information about the bill. I did read through it pretty quickly. There is some language in there about utility infrastructure limitations for a city, and that there could be some exemptions in having to follow the bill to the letter of the law. And Kechi is in that situation. We are almost maxed at our sewer capacity. And so I'm actually going to reach out to our 4 state representatives that we have for Kechi. That's Representative Emil Berquist, Senator Stephen Owens, Senator Ty Masterson, and Representative Stephen Brunk. I would also encourage you to follow up on the bill to find out, because Dustin will explain it very broad, how it's going to impact the city of Kechi, and that you can't say no to duplexes or accessory dwelling units. And so I want to find out how the bill actually impacts the city, who has a capacity limitation for our utility infrastructure, before decisions are
Are you
made.
talking about the duplexes way out there?
It's actually now in every city.
Well, no, I'm trying to like figure out why it's a problem for you. Because
Okay, I'm not talking about it's just about Cano's Edition.
Mhm.
It now applies to every city that you cannot limit duplexes, townhomes, and accessory dwelling units.
Mhm.
But my concern is that there are some exceptions to cities having it blanket applied
Mhm.
if they have limited utility infrastructure.
even though Sedgwick County will probably provide them if we need them.
Sedgwick County won't pay for our infrastructure.
Oh.
There's no way for the city of Kechi.
No, not for the whole city. I'm just saying for additions in the future. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am saying, so saying we can't have a cap,
Uh-huh.
and yet we have a limitation, especially on our sewer capacity.
Mhm.
And the sewer and water master plan are probably $50 or more million to actually fully institute that. The city of Kechi does not have that money to create all the new infrastructure that would be needed for a bill like SB 418 to just be blanket applied as more and more land comes into the city of Kechi. So I'm not saying anything about Cano's Edition. I'm just saying, looking at the future, that's what you guys are looking at as you look at zoning changes potentially.
Mhm.
And so I believe that the city of Kechi, we need to find out how that bill impacts us and not just make a blanket statement. That's all. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Anybody else for public forum? Hearing that, I close the public forum. Oh, do we have one?
Hand raiser.
You'll get your
Sorry.
chance.
No.
You'll get your chance during the public hearing.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
We're good.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, I now call agenda item 7A, the public hearing for case number CU-2025-02, a request for conditional use to allow an accessory dwelling in the R1 single-family residential district. Does any member of the planning commission wish to abstain from voting on this agenda item? Let the record show.
Excuse me. That does not match this. That's 2502. And this says CU 2601.
So it's 2601?
You talking about the recommendation?
No,
Yeah, right.
we're considering, is this 202601?
It says case 2502, 2025.
Oh, you didn't change this one.
Which one is it?
Should be the 26th.
Yeah, that's gonna be the same case number that's on the staff report,
Okay,
2026.
2026-01.
okay, all right. So, yeah, this public hearing for, case number CU 2026-01. Let the record show there are no abstentions. We have a quorum of 7 commissioners present for the public hearing. Does any member of the planning commission wish to report ex parte communications? Let the record show there are no ex parte communications reported. The secretary has reported that a notice for this hearing was published in the Ark Valley News on 4/16/2025, 2026, right?
Yes, 26.
2026, which is at least 20 days advance notice as required. The property owner and surrounding property owners were also notified by letter at least 20 days prior to this hearing. Therefore, I declare that notification requirements have been satisfied with this public hearing. I will now ask Dustin Beltran to present a brief case report and recommendations.
All right, thank you. All right, CU 2026-01, Kimberly Rader. The conditional use to allow an accessory dwelling on property zoned as the R1 single family. It is generally located 893 feet north of Kechi Road or 61st Street North on the east side of Sioux Street or 265 North Sioux Street. 256. Goodness. The applicant is requesting a conditional use to have the accessory dwelling. The applicant currently has a bi-level house, and due to illness, the applicant requires a more level house for ease of mobility and does not want to give up her home as a result. The applicant is planning on using a destination trailer and placed in her backyard. The applicant wants something removable rather than built. See below for more information. Section 10.37 of the Kechi zoning regulations state, shall be limited to one such structure, shall be compatible with the immediate neighborhood, and constructed of the same or equal siding exterior materials as the principal structure, shall be limited to 50% of the size of the principal structure's gross floor area, shall be subject to applicable lot coverage, setback, and off-street parking requirements. Accessory apartments or dwellings may be rented as an independent residential unit and may be served by independent utility connections, subject to applicable City of Kechi building codes. 2 shall be maintained under the same ownership as the principal structure and shall not be subdivided as an individual lot or condominium unit. A deed restriction stating such shall be filed with Sedgwick County Register of Deeds prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy. The accessory dwelling is defined in the Kechi zoning regulations as a residential unit that is accessory to a single-family residential primary use on the same lot. An accessory dwelling exists independently and is detached from all other structures. Residential design manufactured home is defined in the Kechi zoning regulations as manufactured homes defined as such by KSA 12-742A7 with a minimum of 22 body feet in width placed on a permanent foundation and having a pitched roof, siding, and roofing materials that are customarily used on site-built homes and that comply with the architectural and aesthetic standards of this code. The property is zoned as R1 single-family residential district, developed and used as single-family residential. Approval of this request would allow the applicant to have an accessory dwelling that is suitable for her while keeping her home. The property was developed in 1988, not platted, and there have been no other zoning actions for this property. To the northeast, south, and west, it is all zoned as R1 and used as single-family residential use. Sioux Street is a paved local collector road with curbs. Public services are available and provided to the property. Section 5.7E1 of the Kechi zoning regulations state recreational vehicle, utility, trailer, parking, and storage. Temporary parking and permanent or semi-permanent storage of recreational vehicles and utility trailers shall be allowed for single-family residential primary uses as follows. Such vehicles shall not be used as permanent living quarters. Temporary lodging shall be allowed for periods of up to 15 consecutive days, not to exceed a total of 30 days in a calendar year. Federal guidelines and laws require the city to make reasonable accommodations for the zoning and code compliance when a resident has a disability. Planning Commission and City Council must determine that the accommodations are reasonable while still maintaining legitimate zoning and safety requirements. Public input and neighborhood character are not to be considered. Planning Commission and City Council can still consider code compliance, safety, and other zoning issues. Planning Commission and Council are not required to approve the exact request if another option is reasonable under the circumstances. For example, if a permanent code compliant structure is preferable to a temporary structure. Recommendation: based upon information available prior to the public hearing, the planning staff recommends that the request be approved, subject to the following conditions. Accessory dwelling must comply with the specific use standards of 1037. Developed and maintenance of the site shall be in compliance with the approved site plan. If the zoning administrator finds that there is violation, the conditional use can be revoked. The recommendation is based upon the following findings. 1, is not considered. 2, consistency of the comprehensive plan character. The request for a conditional use is in conformance with Kechi's 2040 comprehensive plan. 3, Sioux Street is a paved collector road with curbs. Public utilities are served to the property and surrounding property. Staff do not anticipate increase in public utilities or services due to the proposed, it's not a garage, accessory dwelling. The subject site is currently zoned R1 single family residential district, which permits an accessory dwelling by conditional use approval. The property is approximately 10,527 square feet and has a maximum lot coverage of 35%. The primary residence and proposed accessory dwelling will have an approximate combined lot coverage of approximately 25%. The property is not vacant and was developed with single-family residence in 1988. Staff does not see an issue with R1 single-family residential district developed and used as single-family with an accessory dwelling being adjacent to other R1. Staff does not anticipate that approval of the request will have significant negative impact on surrounding properties. 8, approval of this application is not anticipated to have significant detrimental impacts on public health, safety, or welfare. Denial of this application could represent a loss in the use and enjoyment of the applicant's property. Here we have the aerial map of the house in question. Zoning, light tan is R1, surrounded by R1. Here we have the approximate location of the area shown for housing. This is the accessory dwelling idea that was sent to me from the applicant. Trailer, you see the hitch up here in the front. Amenities inside, just kind of a basic layout. Site photos, we have subject property to the north, subject property facing to the east, south of the subject property, and west of the subject property. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Just where the not having public input, that's part of federal law.
That is, yes, the characteristics, number 1 and number 9 is part of federal law. We cannot consider those. Yeah.
So did she want to say anything?
Well, hang on.
Yeah, there's no.
Before we get to it, do you have any questions?
Oh, for you? Okay.
Right.
Well, Dustin, I got one question. you were saying. Find it where you're,
Okay.
I mean, you basically said in here that a trailer was not allowed only 15 days.
Correct.
So how do you get around that?
Conditional.
There's several ways of looking at it. It's a conditional use request with ADA compliance. So if planning commission feels that a trailer can be lived in permanently, then we can move forward with the request as approved. On your outline, your procedural outline, on number 2, as another option, I did write that trailers can't be, should not be, basically, instead of a destination trailer or trailer-like structure, a prefabricated home should be used instead as an additional condition to what I have written in the staff report. That can get around it. The prefabricated home can still meet the requirements of the accessory dwelling when a trailer is not allowed.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, Richard?
Yeah, I guess,
Okay.
is this going to be a concrete pad? All right, any other questions for?
I think, Frank,
Yeah.
I had a question as far as tie downs with this in the event of high winds. How's that gonna be handled?
that's also another thing is safety when it comes to being in the trailer versus a prefabricated home. That's something to consider when making the decision for approval, denial, or anything else within the outline there.
Number 2 would be basically on a permanent foundation, which
Right.
on mobile homes, if you have it strapped down properly, FHA, VA still accept that.
Right.
Photo we just saw, didn't look like it.
But number 2 is not.
That's off of
it's
a,
not-
that's off of a website for selling such items, so it's not gonna show the tie downs on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
That would be the
wondered if there
question
was
for
any
the-
requirement for that though, because that could blow into other neighbors' houses, property, things like that.
Right.
We'll ask that when we get there.
Okay.
So Dustin, like the picture of the the example on your presentation, that would be something more fitting into like the number 1
Yes.
on your list of recommendations.
Yes.
Okay. So what's there on the screen right now, that is not in section 10.37, right? That
It's not,
1037 should be same equal siding or exterior materials to the principal structure.
You're just showing an example, correct?
I'm showing the example that was sent to
Example
me.
of
Yes.
Item number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 would not be that particular thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Dustin?
So, so you talked about the utilities. So is it gonna be a then requirement to hook up the destination trailer to public utilities?
I don't know if they can or not. It says that the idea with the way the regulations are written now is an accessory dwelling can be hooked up to utilities.
Mhm.
It doesn't require it, but I believe code enforcement wise, it needs to be.
Right,
And I don't think that a trailer satisfies that need for it. Because there's gonna need to be a meter ran for electricity,
right.
sewer, those things of that nature. And it's gonna make it a more permanent structure, and I think there's gonna be a lot of complications in that regard to it being a trailer versus a prefab home.
Right, and also,
Yes.
oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just, cause and I guess it'll come to them to ask them. I was just thinking you can't do that with those.
Right.
Okay,
On a prefab,
No, I think she's
No, on the
talking,
destination trailer.
on the
Oh,
trip.
yeah, no, those can't, you have to move them every so many, 5, 10, 15 days, right? All the time?
No,
No.
this is,
If you're living in them.
you don't know that we're saying you don't have to.
You would normally,
Normally you would, but in this case you would not have to, is that correct?
Then how would she dump her tank for sewer?
Well,
She'd
that would
have
be
to
a
drive it
question.
off and dump it.
Am I understanding right what you're saying here?
I think so.
Did she,
If they approve that, would she
Excuse
be
me, that
required
she does not have to move
every
it.
15 days?
Oh, no.
Then it has to.
No. No, if it's approved, she wouldn't have to be required to move it every 15 days because technically it can only be at the property 30 days out of the calendar year. That's why a trailer doesn't fit, but if you feel like it does fit and given the ADA, it's like being at work when somebody has an ADA
Right.
requirement, you have to make concessions.
Right.
Planning commission has to decide where those concessions land. So does city council because it'll go to council next.
right,
Does a trailer work or would a prefabricated home work better?
right.
any other questions for Dustin? Okay, I'll now ask the applicant to step to the podium and state their name and address for the record.
Did you ask me to do? I'm sorry.
State your case.
Well, I'm Kimberly Rader. I'm the one that's asking for the ADA.
Okay.
I'm not sure how this all goes. I've never been here before, but I'm not afraid of public speaking, so shut me down when you need to. I want you to know I didn't come to this option lightly. I purchased my first home across the street at 223 Sioux back in 94. Back in 94. And when I purchased my home, none of this was here. In fact, at the end of the street was nothing but dirt roads. So when I purchased the home, my intentions were to be able to live and or retire there. What I didn't expect was to be diagnosed with MS in 02.
Yeah.
In 02. And I lived with it for a minute and I dealt with it. This disease has stolen quite a bit from me, up to and including having me in, what's it called?
You don't want when we need to learn to walk again, or?
No.
Rehabilitation center.
Yeah, thank you. That's what you're here for. I'm the one with no mind. I'm the one with no mind. What's that like for you? Okay, so that's my son. So I've been in rehab for 100 days and had to learn how to walk and talk again. And I'm really proud of myself because I like the autonomy, the ability to be mobile, to be independent, things like that. I didn't expect for my kids to have to be there for me. I'm sure like anyone with children don't expect that. So, but as of late, I've fallen down and knocked out my 2 front teeth. I can't go up and down the steps sometimes. I'm bruised up, I'm banged up, I'm cut up. And I don't think because of that I should have to leave my home. Especially when I have children who can be on the property and be there for me if I need it. And that's kind of what I want to do because I have grandchildren. I want to have this as a long term. You know, everyone doesn't want a legacy, right? So I looked around and I thought about everything. So where I'm located, as soon as you come past the stop sign, you have on the right hand side of the street, right hand side of the street. Yes, on the east side of the street, the first 2 homes have those big garages with the additional garages in the back. And so I'm saying between 4 homes just like that. This one, that one, then there's me, then there's that one, but all of them have big extra additional garages, the big super ones. So the reason why I chose, after doing a lot of research, I chose that destination trailer because the hitch can be removed. It's designed to be off the grid. I also I need something that was right now because of the urgency. I don't want to kill myself in my own home or end up in the hospital, really, really hurt. So by thinking about building a structure on there, I know we're post-pandemic and houses have gone up, but I don't know that adding a structure like that could increase the value of my home or make something, I don't know. So when you make these decisions, you have to make smart decisions. And in lieu of all that, so now you have this illness, you have a home that you own outright. I have no mortgage. You have a home that you own outright. No one to sell it because you can't go get the same amount of house right nowadays for what you sell that for, and you have a need for something different. I want to stay in my property. I was here before a lot of people were, and I'm not planning on leaving my property if I don't have to. So now I heard you say that manufactured home. Are you saying that I could put a like a single wide or something on the property? What does that mean when you said
Prefabricated, you can't put, like the mobile homes
Yeah.
that you see, that can't happen, but prefabricated like a tiny home
right?
can.
Which requires that it go on the concrete and be built and be able to recoup it as well. So with
Yes.
this one, I can move it and I can go where it needs to go. So there's really nothing that's gonna hinder me in certain ways. If for some reason, my son back here, I don't want to say it in front of him, but if for some reason I'm in a rehab home for the rest of my life, I don't want my kids stuck with something that they don't know what they can do with or things along those lines. Like I said, you can remove the hitch. It's designed to be off the grid. And I can't imagine something that big. I have neighbors like right on the end. He has his fifth wheel. There's a lot of fifth wheels and mobile homes around me. So we can't really say, well, theirs can end up in my yard too. Because they don't move when the weather changes. They just don't. They're there, they're property and they stay there. So I'm not asking for anything different as far as what's on the properties now, but the difference is I want to live in mine. The difference is I want to put something there that I can be safe in, that I can get to now. Because it's gonna take me a minute to go in and get something rebuilt. But also I did some additional research. The reason why I chose that one is that all the people around, I talked to all my neighbors, all of them have tapped into their own property. They've used a electrician and they're tapped into their own property. They don't have different meters. They tap into the meters on their homes for those garages that they have. So I wouldn't be using any more electricity than they do. The other thing with that destination trail is removable bins for to add white water, gray waste, and dark waste if needed. So I have no problem with digging a hole if I need to for any type of waste like that. I thought about this long and hard because who wants to give up their independence at 58 years old? I don't.
I got a question. Yeah, you said you wouldn't dig a hole, but you're gonna connect your waste to the house?
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna do?
That part of it I'm open to because that's the part that I think is the easiest part of it.
Yeah, because you can't just dig a hole.
No.
Well, you have to listen. Okay, when you talk to me, I just don't think that
Okay,
way.
well, I mean, I have
The logical aspect, the legal aspect of it, I have no problem as far as tapping into that. However, the home itself is self-contained.
Right.
It is self-contained. It also has some,
They come and get it too on some of them.
Yes.
It's like they come
depending
out and
on
clean
what
that
is
stuff
approved.
out on site.
no, it's contained in its own unit. Do they flush it? So the unit will come out where they can dump it, but they'll flush my pipes.
Kind of like
Right.
you would, almost like a porta potty. Like they'll come out, they'll vacuum it all out.
Oh,
That's what
I see, so you don't have,
Clean
So-
out the.
We
you
would
don't
see
have a dump that you,
Correct.
somebody comes out to service.
Right. Now, what I'm saying is I don't currently have one. It may benefit me to have one, but it's not necessary for me to have it there because there is a secondary option. And it's just gonna be me.
Basically, depending on whatever you approve. If,
Okay, well,
yeah.
so this is like a RV, so you can
It's
hook up.
it's depending on what is. We're basically kind of trying to get the ball rolling as to what we need to get done. So no matter what, we'll have the slab done. We've got plenty of electricians and stuff like that in our family that we know are all certified and can get the job done properly.
Show me that.
I've worked in concrete for the last 4 years now.
He was born.
But anyways, with that, it's like, so we'll make sure everything is done to spec depending on what is approved. So if you're allowing the trailer idea that's detachable and grounded, what?
What do you mean about depending on what's approved? Why can't we do it?
What is what we're talking about?
Oh, sorry.
He's giving the options.
That's what Dustin, so
I forgot.
the intent is, your intent, the city, is that they would hook their utilities and water and sewer to their house.
I briefly talked to Thomas about it, and I don't think that is an option to hook it directly into the house, any of the utilities.
Not for an accessory dwelling.
Right.
Correct, to live in.
Right.
You don't have option one. Or, no, I'm talking about a travel trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about an accessory dwelling,
Yeah.
right? An accessory dwelling has to be hooked up to utilities,
It does,
right?
but it doesn't have to have its own
Meter.
meter.
But I don't know if that's true or not.
It doesn't have to have its own meter. I checked it out, and then let's be honest. I'm not sure this thing's something bad. A lot of people have these larger garages. You don't know who is staying in there or not. They have electricity that's tapped into their house. So
Or, I mean, a lot of times you have electricity for a garage. I mean, they don't have a separate meter
I mean, I'm gonna pay for
for a
it
garage.
via the meter on my home.
I think what she means is you, by code, you can have a sub panel fed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a 50 amp breaker, you go to
Yeah.
a sub panel and that can break out.
Right.
Break out.
Just like a plug-in, you can just plug it in.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be able to just plug it in. I could.
No, like when you go to an RV park.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
their electrician's just gonna have to put it on a pole, and then you'd have to plug it in there, which is no big deal.
Right. They can
So,
take it. Go ahead.
ma'am,
Kim. Go ahead.
Kim, have you spent, like the night in a trailer in the winter?
You probably don't want to answer this question. So, first out of high school, I bought into a carnival. I bought into it. What's it called? I bought into
The concessions.
concession trailers, and I lived for 15 years in an RV, traveling all around the U.S.
Up north.
There's another reason why I was okay with that. So I would also have to go in and have it where they. Sorry, my son's here for this. 'Cause
Winterize.
Yeah.
Not winterize. Winterize means that I'm not going to use it anymore. They put the heaters in. Yes, that's
It
it.
has to be a 4-season trailer.
Yes, it'd be insulated, so it wouldn't freeze in the Kansas winter.
Well, because you're gonna have, those trailers are actually meant for people just like snowbirds and things like that. They go down and they spend the
Not
winter down
those.
in the destination trailers.
The destination trailers can go just about anywhere. That's the reason why you have them, so you can leave it on your grounds. A lot of times, with me being a part of the carnival world, a lot of people have it for their off seasons because they do live in their Class A.
Correct.
They live in their Class A's, so they take something without the wheels. So their home is still right there. They transfer from one place to the next if they choose to. But all I'm saying is I'm just trying to find the best resolution for my situation for right now.
So is the picture of this hers, that she wants in her backyard?
I don't know.
That
Do we know what it looks like?
The reason why I sent that one is because that is the one I have already been approved and I'm looking at purchasing. I have not signed any agreements or anything because I don't want to be stuck with anything
Do you
like no
know
one else.
all that I'm the queen of the tiny home?
Really?
Over the news. We put a tiny home on our 5 acres.
And I looked at that.
Aren't they usually 2-story?
No. This is this right here
Oh,
with a tongue on it.
uh-huh,
And my niece moved on it
uh-huh.
because we own the 5 acres, and the whole Sedgwick County crapped their pants. And well, we had to go to the planning commission. We had to go to
So you
city
started
council.
here.
We had to fight for 6 months over this because they thought it was betting to value the property, which is my property.
Yeah.
It cost her $200,000 to build that thing.
Yeah.
It was the first tiny home here. The only thing that they made us do is she can hook up to electricity and all that jazz. I don't know about sewer, but the only thing they made us do with Jordan is you can actually install a very small septic system,
Yeah, but not in Kechi.
a little.
You have to
Plastic
hook up
thing.
either to Sewer
Inside the
system.
city limits.
So then she can have it. Somebody can come dump it out for
the,
her.
yeah, that would be.
Okay, yeah.
And so, and you bring me to the best point. So I own a home. I've already purchased that home. To build a tiny home, the minimum we saw was like $80,000. That one is $35,000. Doable for me. All I need. but I got that one, and it all it has is it was a pre-owned, so I had to do a lot of research. But being a carny, you know, you kind of get a lot. You can buy things with it. It's that was pre-owned. Knew that the hitch could come off. It could also have the propane tanks in there removed or not. No different than my barbecue grill. Let's be honest.
So you're gonna tie it down, like permanent?
Yeah, I'm not. Yes,
Yeah, because the tongue's gonna have to come off. You're gonna have to tie it down.
What's gonna have to come off?
The front, the hitch, the tongue. It's called the tongue of the trailer.
Oh yeah, they're gonna drop it. The company that I'm buying, they're gonna drop it. I'm not even.
Probation you're doing, but my niece,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
did
I'm
the
not
same
even-
thing. She had to put insulation, skirting, all that stuff.
Yes,
And I can do that too.
everything.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
she wants
okay.
to.
Yeah, the skirts
You're
and all
gonna,
that.
you're gonna have pipes and everything, you don't want those.
Yeah, that's where the installation is gonna come into play. So,
How big a holding tank you got for Blackwater and Redwood?
the one I'm looking at, I have 80 gallons for, I think it's 80, black and gray, but it's just me. But here's the other thing I want you guys to recognize and realize. It's not my only source of living when I am not what's it called? When I get messed up,
Oh, you talking about when you walk out?
flare. So when I'm not having a flare up and I'm not falling and I'm not busting myself up, I still have my home.
Do you have the stairless, like the acorn stairless?
Have you seen ours? You can't really get those in there.
Not the
Yeah, you
front
can.
level.
Not for the way our houses are built from the 88. No, you can, but
When you walk in, you go
You go up or down?
you go up and
Yeah.
down. But it's
My
only
parents had those.
but it's only about this wide.
Yeah, you can do it because they fold up. The seat folds up.
Yeah.
That's not what they're asking.
Yeah,
Well, I know, but I'm concerned about her.
I kind of have the
that's
same
why she's got
thought.
him over here.
Well,
We're
and
gonna
my
get
wife
a
doesn't work.
fair amount of this.
My
You
wife-
guys, are you guys living in
Yeah.
the
It
house?
just,
Yes.
it just seems to me,
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
So
aside from the point we're talking, but it seems to me you'd probably be money ahead to modify your home,
maybe,
to make it livable rather than taking this
Maybe.
path.
but it's not something that I can do right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna make it
Well,
flare up right now.
Go ahead.
The other thing is me and my wife and my kids are going to be on the house. We plan on being there for years. And I'm like, I mean, we're trying to have this to where we can still have her live with us as well. We can all live coherently. She can still have her grandkids right there. And
Yeah,
it still be,
But by the time
It
What
gives
are
her
you gonna do though
independence.
if you're, you know, like, if you need to, we've got 14 below weather and you need to come in the house and you've got a flare up or something, I mean, how are you gonna get up and down the steps?
but
that's what we're for.
no. This is what this is about because if it doesn't matter that low in degrees, it's designed to be an off the grid home. It can't handle that freezing weather as long as I insulate my pipes.
Right.
So I shouldn't have to leave it all.
Hey, Gus, just if I may, when we do a motion, whatever that motion looks like, are we allowed, I mean, you have conditions in here already, but,
You can put it under condition.
yeah,
You can put, it has to be pink if you want. It's off the
Yeah,
wall,
that's not happening.
but you're right, no, I know.
It's-
You can make any conditions you want.
okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, okay.
This is my son, Mike.
Micah,
Micah?
yes.
So,
My little boy.
yeah, what are your intentions for utility? Will you,
We'll put a pole out, like as kind of Kechi was saying.
kind of like a
Yeah.
temporary service
Yes.
Initially.
for like,
It's a sunset panel.
Yeah, it's only it is
and then
with the electricity.
water?
Yeah, with the electricity and stuff, and her water's,
I forgot to tell you, I talked to the 88 lady and they said that I can either tap into home, Kechi, or there's a such thing as a where you get your water from.
like a well.
So you're not paying the regular rate for water, so you can tap into it and have a big old thingy, water holder thingy?
Yeah, reservoir.
Have you?
Oh, you mean, you have a tank, you have a holding,
Holding
or a
tank.
tank for water.
Meaning, yeah, so the ADA has suggested I can also get a larger tank, but to hold more water if approved, but it doesn't have to come from the house. There's a such thing as is it hydrant water or,
Oh, hydrogen?
where you can refill
Well,
it?
you can put a water hydrant outside your house and hook to it. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know, maybe that's what they mean. Oscar, does that sound right, Oscar?
No.
Oscar, I don't know. But where I can, fill it, and where you only have to do that maybe monthly because it's such a big thing and it's just one person, one party.
Yes, you have a
If you
holding
got-
tank.
You got a,
Oh,
Yeah, you have a holding tank on your trailer
Yeah.
that holds water.
Okay.
so you would fill
So
that up.
you could fill that up with
And
your
that-
water hose.
Well, no, it was saying,
Yeah.
no, it was saying not necessarily because of the cost of water in Kechi, or maybe, decreasing the cost by
Well, you could,
fill
if you
it.
don't get it from Kechi, you could put that.
No,
water
it's
in.
like a hydrant.
Yeah, it's gonna be more expensive.
You're talking about a well that had like a hydrant right there, but you can get.
Well, you
water
don't-
from it.
You don't have a well on the property, or you have a well? No.
No, where you should it be, okay.
So you either gotta fill it up with the
Hose.
hose or somebody
It's
hauls it in.
$700 water bill, I don't know about that, okay, man.
So, okay, so that's your.
Is that what you did? Since you live in the tiny homes, how
Oh,
did you
no,
get your water?
we brought in city water, we had,
Okay,
because it's on the 5 acres in the middle of nowhere,
got it.
over there.
Make sure.
But if you get a right electrician and a plumber, they can do that for you,
Yeah.
from your house, they can trench it from your house to you.
That was it, they said we do that as
Yeah.
well.
Yep.
So, and it's a lot, I know it seems, I don't think it's gonna be a greater cost than to modify my home.
Okay, well, all right. Dustin, just wanna make sure that the city has no problem with that hooking to the house, like residential hookups.
That I don't know. I would have to consult with Thomas on it.
I mean,
Last
to
I
me,
talked
that's
to
the
him,
most logical way to do this. Would be hookup, cause I mean, for somebody to come out, service a thing, or, you know, like an RV, you have a flexible tube that goes over, you know, to your clean out or something, and
Right.
dump to that.
And it did
But
you
it'd be
from the neighbor's house.
better to have a trench line that was hooked to the sewer.
last I talked to Thomas, he said that's not an option, but I don't know. I can ask him again.
Well, so it's either gonna go to the residents, or you're gonna have to have somebody come out.
Yeah, I sort of like mentioned was someone would come out,
Yeah.
is that what,
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
and like, they would just dump it and clean it? Like what, once a month or that kind of?
Yeah, well, as needed, I mean,
It's just her, yeah.
Well, I know like our RV, in the last couple of days. And then you gotta,
Yeah, it's,
then you gotta dump,
It's just,
that's
the
not that
black
big
water.
really when you get
No,
down
yeah.
to it, because we got an RV too, and it's, yeah, you gotta, you know, maybe a week,
yeah.
maybe.
and then what happens in the holding tanks, you know, solid stuff collect.
Yeah.
If
you're
you-
gonna
Well,
have
and that's the
to-
thing is, she would still be coming to use the bathroom every now and then.
Oh,
in,
yeah,
in the
yeah.
house.
if I'm not flaring up.
Yeah, if she's good flaring up, playing with the grandkids, she's.
The whole goal is, the whole thing is to
Right.
flare up,
Right.
which is what
But you
I'm
still
at.
gotta do like
Yeah.
all the maintenance
Yes.
Absolutely.
that you would, so you're gonna be busy.
Oh, I'm going to.
Because having an RV, which that's what this is, takes a lot of time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm
There's a
gonna say,
lot-
I've been doing farming for tractoring and all types of stuff for a while.
There's
Like,
There's a lot to, taking care of an RV. What
Oh,
would-
Well, if you're that worried
Yeah,
about it, my niece got a composting toilet. So she didn't have any,
Aren't
like,
those expensive though?
$2,000.
Yeah,
That
I'm just telling you.
yeah, there's an option.
She put that in there, so the only thing that went out of her trailer was gray water, which would have been from her washing machine.
Right.
That
Right.
was it.
And they're gonna.
So I got a question for
Yeah.
Dustin. So you have approved here. You say that the recommendation, is to be approved. But I don't see how, without Thomas being here, without us knowing about the utilities, without, how do you say that? How did you come up with that? To say it's a.
Because I can see it both ways, whether it needs to be a prefabricated home or this type of destination trailer home. I can see it both ways. That's where I put everything on you guys to make the difficult decisions. And that way, when things go sideways for Miss Rader here, I can point at all of you and say,
And
yeah.
Thomas approved all of my neighbors for their utilities, so I know that's how it's done.
Yeah,
The
I'm
only thing was the
just
water.
concerned about you. I don't want you to be cold. You know, I want you to, you know, be comfortable in your home.
But is by chance is Thomas the guy that runs the shop?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we
He's always
did,
the one.
Yeah.
we poured a bunch of plots over by his house out in Park City. And when I was talking to him, because I was supposed to maybe doing some Saturday jobs for him every now and then. Yeah, hey, I like to work. But he, when he actually brought this up to me, I literally didn't have any little factors. Because I was like, keep that. I was
Because he did all of my neighbors have electricity, and I think the one on the end that before this house has water in their garage.
I think, I kind of agree with what Cheryl saying, is that we need to kind of hammer down, we don't want you to run into problems now, you know.
Right.
You know, we want to figure out what's the city gonna accept, as far as
Dustin,
disposal of that and hook it up to water.
And to be able to do that though, and for that to be able to be hooked up correctly, right?
Right.
Maybe there's somebody that you could, talk to, like with the manufacturer or something, just to see if, you know, getting it hooked up to sewer or having it hooked up, you know, to a house for electricity and gas or whatever, right? I mean,
I was like, yeah, that's, so when the electrician came out, what they basically are talking about is on the back of our panel at the top of our fuse box, we've got more than 8 slots available. And so he would essentially add on to that
okay,
and use those fuses as like secondary. So then we go straight to the pole, and that's where we do it.
And
so that wouldn't be a problem. I think the only thing it would be the, like the water sewer.
that's the only thing. Because ADA is all, this trailer comes with a, what's it, son?
Solar panels.
Yeah. It has some solar panel issues too for backup.
Mm-hmm.
If something goes out, it'll run for 24 hours on the solar system in there.
Dustin, I have a question for you, and I may have tried to ask this earlier and didn't ask the right way. But if we were to approve this based upon your recommendation, what is presented on the screen would not be allowed. Is that correct?
It depends on whether, if you do number 1, it would allow the trailer.
How would it be allowed? Because in 1037, it's not allowed.
Right, because
And
it's
then-
falling under ADA compliance.
But I thought ADA is a different process where they would need to go through a certain specific process with the city,
This is the process.
not,
It is. So like number 1 and number 9 on the findings, those can't be taken into consideration. So that's where ADA comes in and says, look, you still have to go through the entire process of a conditional use, just like any other citizen would. But
so has the applicant applied a reasonable accommodation for a non-standard structure? Their request must be submitted separately and evaluated under applicable federal guidelines.
Right.
Is that this part? I thought that was separate.
no, that is this part.
How-
What
how
you're
is
reading
that
there,
this part? And
what that part right there is from an email from the city attorney giving guidance on how to do Ms. Rader's case.
then I think your recommendation needs to specifically say that an accessory dwelling is this, because in 1037 it's not. And then we're talking about the other section where section 5.7.e.1, it
it's not applicable for there as well. So your recommendation would have to state that those are not applicable in this example?
They can be. They can be, because that last part, planning commission and city council are not required to approve the exact request if another option is reasonable under the circumstances. So a reasonable different path would be using a prefabricated home. If you guys feel like this would fit and we can ignore the you can't live in a trailer for more than 30 days would fit, then we can move forward with that. That's where that ADA comes in, is can we make that accommodation to allow someone to live in this type of trailer year round?
That's fine. We'll just have to agree to disagree, because I don't think that that's in there. So
Okay.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere, somehow, there's gotta be someone that says that somebody else has done this before. How did they do it?
Here in Kechi, I have no idea.
I'm not talking about Keach, I'm talking about in America.
I did it
Right.
down the road, my niece did it down the road.
Right, so how did they, what I'm trying to figure out is, what all do we need to put on this to make it work, to make everybody happy?
It has to be a conditional use.
Yeah.
We had to get a conditional use, right? It's just like this, but she built it on a trailer. She had to have water, electricity, so we took it to the 5 acres.
But how do we find out if it has to be separate water?
It didn't have to be separate water. The only thing is, the only problem with this would be the sewer thing.
Yeah.
And that's Sedgwick County. It's not, unless you say, because you're the mayor and you say Bel Air can have it, but nobody else can. Sedgwick County says you cannot. So, does that make
Cannot
sense?
what? I'm sorry.
Okay, Matt, what?
On this, if you're gonna make this some type of permanent dwelling, and we just said that she was gonna live there for 5 years, she'll live there for 3. She moved it, but it was permanent on there. And she lived there for 3 years, but you're saying she can't put the little mini septic in, correct? Not
Yeah,
Bel
you
Air.
can't do that.
You're right.
So
You
what
cannot do
what
that.
we're saying is maybe let's not even do this and do number 2 that says maybe a prefabricated one that's on a permanent foundation. Do that. We're arguing over this and we're not gonna accept that anyway, right?
No, what you're arguing over is how much I can invest to be able to stay. I can't spend $200,000 to build a house out there. I need to do something now. That's the reason why I'm asking for that.
And I thought once we remove it, because we plan to remove the trailer, remove the hitch, we're putting it on a slab. Like, it's not just gonna sit in the yard, like, it is gonna be on a
Then the only problem that the county's gonna have is your sewer. Otherwise, because my niece she had to move it every 5 days. If we considered it a, whatever those things are, a trailer.
And this is the one we can figure out.
Yeah, it does have,
They come and get the soup.
it does have but I didn't.
So what you're saying though is that Sedgwick County that is going to say that they're going to clean out the sewers.
No,
That's
no,
not
no.
gonna
Not
work.
in this-
Not in this case.
Not
She's
in
in
this case,
Sedgwick
but
County,
she's
we're in
in
Keach.
Sedgwick.
We have to go by each other.
That's why I said
Right,
you're
goes to
different
the
than Sedgwick County then, because then you don't have to worry about that. We did.
Right. So what about the sewer?
Can
They
I
come and get it, they come
recommend
and
Well-
dispose of it.
that we,
Yes.
the planning commission begins its deliberations? And then we could bring you back if you have any questions, so we could start having that conversation now.
Yeah.
Is that fine with you?
Yeah, that's right. Very good.
Wait,
Do you have anything else? Go
yeah,
ahead.
what does that mean? Does that mean?
So they're gonna go over everything.
Which we're already
so
so
far,
far,
and they're gonna discuss it between
Till
themselves.
midnight.
Which means you don't have to sit right there, you can go back over here and sit. And then if they have more questions at the end of their deliberations or during it, they'll ask you.
Can I just say one more thing? I'm so sorry. Are we going, or I can wait till later?
No, go ahead.
It just seems like if I'm understanding correctly, it's almost like going through option one, but trying to make option one option two because of the initial purchase price. Is that what
Of the initial what?
purchase price?
Investment.
The investment, the
Yeah,
initial investment.
because of the need.
Well, are you saying this is cheaper than you bringing in
Yeah.
a $50,000 little mobile home?
And some tiny homes are on ton.
And I'm not trying to dissuade Kimberly or
Right.
anything. I did a quick search comparing what was sent to me versus a prefabricated. I found prefabs at a cheaper price than what was presented to me. But it's not my decision. I'm not gonna be the one living it.
Right, okay.
So,
Here's the other thing that you're saying, is if you do something like that, now it's permanent.
Right.
And do we want to have a permanent, they don't want to have a permanent.
But the market
They want to
is
have
saying
something they can move off when they're not using it.
I'm sorry, is a prefab 100% permanent?
No.
What's the difference between a
Because my niece loaded up and
prefab?
left, because she was permanently on
I've
that
never
ground
heard
for
of
Is
3
that the
years.
same thing as a mobile home?
Removing it.
Yeah, a few different building standards, but essentially it is, yeah. Typically it'll come in two parts.
It could be moved, but
You have to
it's
move it
not
with a
something
crane
that's
or put
probably
a carriage on it, throw it away in two parts.
Cause a 22-foot, that's a double wide.
Yes.
they're asking for something specific.
Yeah.
And we either approve it or we disapprove it. And we, my main concern with this whole thing is we haven't come to conclusion how they're gonna hook up
Right.
the utility.
That's the problem.
that's one of the issues with trailer versus a prefab.
Prefab.
That's
Right.
that's
So,
where we put the burden on you guys to
well, we
make that
don't
decision.
know. So why don't we ask, why don't we ask Thomas? Doesn't he?
When you do a prefab house,
I'm asking, so you're saying with a prefab house, if we put the cement down and I wanted to put a single wide or double wide, that would be an option?
Only because ADA would let you do it. Other than that, I don't think it's allowed.
if you're gonna do a prefab house, do they get to hook into all their existing plumbing, all that stuff, or does it have to all be separate?
There's two trains of thoughts on it, is that it has to be separate or they can hook into the house. I think the way people have leaned is that they want it to be separate. But that could possibly change. I don't know who Chris is talking to, if she's talking to Tom. If she's talking to Thomas or not. But it could go.
They could come off the panel and sub the.
I personally,
and they
I
could do
don't
that
do
with the
the
water
utilities.
too, but.
I would
PCI
say it
has
would be
to
fine to
allow it.
hook into the house.
It's the
That's just me
sewer.
though.
That's the only problem.
That's, yeah.
The sewer is the only problem. Not problem, that's just the only thing that's.
Right, and I don't think we know.
Well, that's like,
That's the problem.
Yeah, I can't say.
And you,
But we're not, I know you're trying to make the best decision for her,
So
with her in mind. But we're not here to discuss the utilities, we're just here to discuss the accessory dwelling. And I know that they kind of go hand in hand, but we have to remove the utilities out of it and go with,
Well, I disagree with that.
you look surprised, but that's what we're here for. It wasn't a conditional use for utilities, it was a conditional use for an accessory dwelling.
Feasible for them.
Right,
We can't allow something and then they go to do it and they can't put in what they wanna put in. As far as the, utilities and stuff.
absolutely, that's
I
correct.
think you gotta solve that problem first before we prove something. Otherwise,
Okay.
they're gonna go off and do something and they're gonna go to you guys and you say, well, you can't do that.
You
Well,
don't
they've
want
got a
them-
unit there that they can't hook up.
You don't want them to buy something and then we come back later and tell them, oh,
You did not
you
know.
gotta put in $20,000 worth of sewer in your, I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
That would not be a good surprise.
It was Thomas. He wouldn't give me an exact answer. He says because it's never been done. Normally, an accessory dwelling does have to have its own meters. But this is kind of a different case, so he honestly does not know.
Going back to what you were talking about with the sewer, you talk about a truck coming in and servicing it. You ever
Right,
been
he said
around
if
any of
that's
those-
sewer, if that's what they'll do, that's different, but water and gas usually have to have their own meters.
Right, but I'm concerned with neighbors. You ever been around one of those trucks that's a big vacuum truck and they're noisy and they stink? And I think your neighbors would have a fit if all of a sudden that truck was rolling through there on a regular basis.
Well,
We also have to take into consideration special ADA purpose,
Right.
like,
I agree.
if they need it, they can.
I think
need it.
if we're gonna allow this, then they're gonna have to be able to hook, run an extension from their sewer under this unit and hook to it.
Okay.
And water the same way.
Okay.
Now, electricity, I don't know.
Wouldn't that
I
be
mean, I
expensive
guess-
to do though for your sewer?
Not really.
No, like the sewer tank,
There's probably a clean out.
Just
Maybe.
pin
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
a normal RV,
It would.
Oh, yeah.
If
If
you're
I
talking
pulled
about
up-
running another sewer line, is the sewer in
If
the
I-
back or the front?
Yeah, it's in the back.
if a normal RV, you can pull up to most houses and they've got a clean out. You take the clean out off, you hook your hose to it and dump. And it goes down the sewer. Now, I don't think the city likes you doing that. But
We had to trench
That you
and
can do
replace the sewer tank a few years ago. So I know precisely where it's at and we fixed it up ourselves.
But I
Several
think
years ago, probably about 10
you would wanna run that underneath and hook it up.
Well, yeah, they
Yeah,
have to
solid
trench it
waste
and tie it in, but if the sewer, if she's wanting this right here and the sewer's there, it's gonna cost her, depending on the drop of the sewer thing, $3,000 or $4,000.
You can make it a condition that if you approve this,
Right.
this home here, that it has to be connected to the house utilities. And keep in mind that these are all, your recommendations go to city council. City council ultimately has to make that decision. They'll,
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and, unless you got any other questions for the applicant.
Look at 1037E.
What is that?
1037E states accessory apartments or dwellings. One may be rented as an independent residential unit and may be served by an independent utility connection subject to applicable city or Kechi building codes.
It says may be
Yeah.
served. It does not say you have to certify it independent.
Right. Yep, thank you.
Welcome.
I'll leave the power guy over here. And that, my first one.
Thank you very much.
I believe so.
It's just chair. Just be chair. Right? Yeah. Hold up my leg.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so, you're saying we can't have any other input. So I will close the, public hearing. And the planning commission will deliberate these findings of fact. I think I would recommend, well, one thing, I mean, conditions, I would add that it has to be on a hard surface. That's one of our regulations. And I would say that it needs to be hooked to the, city utility. I don't care if it goes through the house or separate, but it has to be hooked to the city utility. And then we leave it to the city to figure out how they want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna have full permits.
Yeah.
And who's the little city guy? It says maybe, that means allowed, served by an independent utility connection, so even if they have to set up another panel, it's not that expensive, since it's already on the same property.
So we're not paying for that.
No,
How are you gonna hook up? But the city, you're gonna go to them and they're gonna tell you,
how
oh,
to
you
do
can't do that.
so as long as they.
Well, we're talking about doing is to say it has to be hooked to the city utility.
The same thing with the sewer.
I mean, I know you were, she was talking about, you can't just dig a hole.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no digging holes.
No, that's, hey,
He did when he was younger, so this hole's out there already.
I was like,
Yeah.
no, we
have a lot of farmland out there.
They were horrible. They were great kids.
You gotta get it somewhere.
Any other, things that
I apologize, would you mind, permanent or hard surface?
it has to be on, it has to be on a hard surface.
I think that's right.
Now, as far as tie down, I think they plan on doing that, but I don't think maybe that's not up for us to decide.
the city.
But
Oh, screw and stuff.
Yeah.
just laying it down for a
Oh, yeah,
minute,
Installation, all that, they're gonna have to
and then
do all
that
that
it
anyway.
should be hooked, it needs to be hooked to the city utility.
Now, we know that they're gonna do that, but like say if next month, we have another one. And they wanna do this, because they look at yours and, man, that looks great. So they have somebody else come and do the same thing. So do we want to say that there has to be, has to have skirting, has to have tie downs, has to,
The only reason why we're making exceptions for ADA only.
Yeah, the one you're talking about next week would have to be.
ADA. Not to say that that's not,
I think though, that's a good idea, I think normally if you had a trailer of any kind in the city, it would have that skirt.
yeah,
So I would say it should have skirting. And it's gonna have to anyway to be insulated and stuff.
So is number 2 applicable then? Richard,
With those conditions.
you approve it with the conditions of?
Yeah, we're just adding some conditions that we're putting on.
So it could be either one.
We're adding to number 2.
The senators
Oh,
saying yes, but not for this.
They're gonna provide one, right?
And then the last thing I would recommend is that after this use, that it has to be,
That would be, you mean, is the zoning with these conditions permanent? Is it passed down from the next owner?
It's no longer usable, she's
well,
gone.
it's no
ADA is
longer,
applicable.
yeah, ADA is not,
I don't know the answer, that would be Dustin.
Which is the reason why we said we would.
yeah, this is a use for
Yeah.
ADA only.
this particular person.
Right.
And if that's no longer ethical, then it's used. Because it doesn't,
Has to be removed on discontinued use. So somebody else can't use it.
well, I mean, you wouldn't want it still sitting there.
Right,
So it'd be removed.
they can't rent it out.
Right.
She.
Which is why we also thought of that as well, that it's permanent. So it becomes. Say again?
Permanent, you can't rent out. That's allowed.
Right.
You can rent out an accessory building.
I can't. But you gave me this.
You have to have a permanent structure though.
It's the same thing, but it has. I mean, it's the same thing,
And that's not
but
allowed for
it's
separate
like the
business.
seats, and then all that
Any
stuff.
property you put an accessory. That's
Where
SB
she
report. I had
was,
either my phone or
discussed
legislature.
the heating use.
And it's
That
just-
went through for a house.
When did that happen? This year.
Yeah.
It just went into effect.
Who
The
was,
state legislature.
I know, but I
Oh, Ty Masterson was behind. And TJ.
Anything else, anybody
why? What did
Affordable
think would
housing.
be?
Duplexes, townhomes, and accessory dwelling.
So approve either or.
that's concerning? It's concerning.
So, you have any else? I mean, we're talking about adding hard, it has to be on a hard surface.
Yeah.
It has to have skirting and hook to the city utilities.
Okay.
Now, since we don't know that, the city's gonna have to prove that.
Cool.
And,
Because we don't.
and then after after she knows needs that, then it has to be removed.
Yes,
So, I
that was the
mean,
whole
this is
point.
for her use.
That's what, yeah,
Of the conditional use,
yeah, that's why we wanted to do it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
To clarify, we're approving a destination trailer or trailer-like structure with those conditions.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, like, it's a dream come true, honestly. I mean, I didn't get to live very close to my grandparents, so when I see people, I'm like, yeah, I guess that's nice. But I see the way my kids get to interact with their grandma, and you know, it's a beautiful thing.
It keeps the family unit
So, I mean,
together.
if I gotta do a little extra work in the winter, so, you know.
Yeah,
Sure. I have a motion to approve per zoning administrator's recommendations with conditions and changes. So I move that the planning commission adopt the findings stating in the zoning administrator's report for case number CU-2026-01 and forward a recommendation of approval to the governing body regarding the requested conditional use to accessory dwelling in the R1 single family residential district, subject to the following conditions and changes. So we are approving a destination trailer or trailer-like structure with the following conditions. One being a permanent foundation or hard surface. 2, the trailer must be connected to city utilities. 3, the trailer must have skirting. And 4, may not be rented as an independent residential unit.
It must be removed after.
And must be removed after 5. Thank you.
And tied in.
And tie downs. And 6 is tie downs.
plus the 3 Dustin, plus the 3 that Dustin
I second.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say yes.
Okay. Who seconded?
Me, sorry.
That's an hour and a half.
All right.
You don't know me.
Made a motion.
You don't know me.
Second by Chris.
Let's get through city council
This
first.
with 7 conditions that were stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Sorry. Poor guy, like.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's the same place, same time, 7 o'clock. I mean, here. No, not.
Yeah.
Come back. Just. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know the council.
Well, it is, we have our own,
Most of them we
Hey, Justin, so I got one
Okay, yeah.
I got one thing left. The recommendation and written summary of the public hearing will be considered by the governing body at the 6/11/2025. It's not 6/11. What is
It
it?
is
6/11.
Yeah.
26.
It's not political.
6/11/26.
2026 meeting to be held at 7 PM in this room. Okay, all right, thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, go down to unfinished business. And Justin, when you go through this, you go through kind of slow so we get to understand what we're doing.
All right, so the first one here that I'm going to talk about is administrative adjustments. If you look at the city of Hayesville, Derby, and Bel Air, they have something that's called an administrative adjustment. Basically, Cheryl, you want to come in and build a big garage on your property, but you want it to be bigger than what is allowed by the regulations. If it's only a certain amount, I believe on here it would be 20%, you wouldn't have to go to the planning commission or city council to get approval for a conditional use or anything else like that. You come to me, we discuss it, I sign off on it, I take it to Matt signs off on it, so that way it's not just me that is saying, yes, you can do this. And that way it saves you time and you can get onto your project sooner or do whatever you need to do without needing the hassle of coming through planning commission and or city council.
I second that.
But there'd be restrictions, only a certain amount.
Yeah, and what we've got written in here on that second page, let me come down here to it.
When would you say no to that?
If it's over, if she wanted to go 25% higher, I would say no, we have to go through planning commission, city council. And these adjustments are so minor that it shouldn't impede on anyone else or the process that we had in place for conditional uses, variances, rezonings.
So why not just put that in there then, because that would be automatically approved?
So that way we still have the maximum height for a certain district. You can get that adjusted by a conditional use. But this way, if it's only a very minor adjustment, it can be done like that. But if it goes over that minor ability, then we have to go through the process.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. That makes sense. But like, why does an applicant even need to come to you in that case if we could just put it in the code that's approved? If everything is getting approved 100% of the time after talking to you.
Right. So that way we at least have a paper trail of what's going on with the property. We know that Cheryl wanted, a bigger house or whatever. Then we have it documented. She went through the right process. She just didn't start building on her property and said, to the city. Yeah. So one of them, I think the biggest one, I don't think we've seen it too often, but the biggest one would be the permitted height of a fence. We can go up to 8 feet, but it has to go through a conditional use through planning commission and city council. That's so minor going from 6 feet. You can do 6 feet without an issue on a privacy fence, but if you go above, again, conditional use, being able to just say yes to it would help that process up, speed it up.
Yeah, but in that particular case, I know for a fact that does cause problems putting an 8-foot fence to a neighbor. Because I've been around Kechi since 1985, and I know somebody did build an 8-foot fence, and it looked terrible.
They would still have to have permits and everything.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that it's going through and doing it without some kind of recommendations from us, approved from city council, and hearing from the public.
Okay.
So where was that when you saying?
It's nine, is the fence.
On the third page,
Okay.
F.
Can you walk me through what was this?
So do you still have to post it
It didn't look.
so that your neighbors and, know about it?
No.
See, I don't agree with any of this.
Okay.
At all with the, if the neighbors do not know. Whereas like when you're bringing it to the planning commission, then it is, well, unless it's ADA, right? Then your neighbors get notified.
You
Right?
shouldn't have to notify your neighbors if they can do it anyway. only if they have to ask us to do something special, different, like the 8-foot fence. I'm making the dimensions up, if they can build a 20 by 23 garage without asking our permission, they shouldn't have to come in here, waste your time, her time, his time. They can do it anyway.
Well,
Right.
then it should be a change to the zoning regulation.
Right, so,
I mean, I'm agreeing with what
right, so,
Eric said.
but we
that
just need to,
Why would you not
give
just change
them
the
more-
zoning regulations if you think that the reducing the minimum lot size by 20%? Well, then you should go back and change the zoning regulations if that's what you want.
is that what you're
I
asking?
mean, basically, when you do the zoning regulations, you're coming up with limits. Either the
I guess
limits
I'm
are off
not,
or
Not everything will automatically be approved that comes in for an administrative adjustment. Like, reducing the minimum lot size or setbacks by 20%. If we're reducing a lot size by 20%, sure, we could do the administrative adjustment on it. But I'm still looking at it, and so is Matt or whoever else is signing off on it, as it would be a full-blown staff report case. Does this fit? Can we still get things on the property that need to be there? Are there gonna be setback issues with a reduced lot?
Wasn't that part of the issue with the corner lot and the drive-through and their setbacks and all of that? So, and you, I believe, approved that, and we didn't.
You guys tabled it.
Right, we tabled it.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
that's commercial though, that's a different nut.
it's
this
the
doesn't.
same thing
It's
as
the
it
same thing. It isn't
does.
safe,
This
just
applies to
R1.
everything.
Okay,
This is
Cheryl?
C, also C and C2 and,
the 20% of a 20-foot yard setback is 2 feet. So that, changing this right now would not affect that property because they're asking for over 2 feet.
what does it say? It's only gonna be 20 feet.
2% of the lot.
2% of a 20-foot reduction in setback is 2 feet,
No, it's 4 feet, 20 foot,
4 feet.
4 feet. It's 2 feet if it's a 10 foot.
Yeah,
So 2 feet,
so 4 feet. They're asking for over 4 feet on the reduction, so it's not gonna affect the Kechi corner lot.
Right, it wouldn't affect that one.
Right.
I don't know.
That was your concern.
Well, I gave that as an example.
Okay.
So, it's not just R1 though.
no, it's everything.
It's everything. So I say, no. This is why you have the planning commission. This is why we volunteered.
Yeah, and you got reducing off-street parking and loading requirements for 25.
Cheryl, would you also say that it's important for affected property owners to be able to come in here and voice their opinion to these changes
Absolutely.
too?
Absolutely, and that's why people need to be, your neighbors need to be notified, they need to have the opportunity to come in here. And not just willy-nilly sign it off and say, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. And two people that don't even live in Kechi are doing that. So, no, this is Kechi. We live in Kechi. We should be making the determinations.
But if I'm reading this wrong, if it's already allowed, we don't need to approve it.
It's not ordinary. It's not.
If somebody
it's not-
wants to build a shed, they shouldn't have to come in here and say, hey, I want to build a shed. Everything shouldn't have to go through the planning commission.
No,
Right.
as long as they.
Because
meet
it's
road
a
zoning
nickel holding up a dollar, and we sat here talking about the item that we agreed to, number 2.
I'm talking about commercial.
No, this,
Okay.
Anything that would require
Basically,
conditional
it's-
use or sign is what
Yeah,
If it
that
meets
should
the
go
zoning
before,
regulations,
that
then
should
they
go
don't
before
have
the
to come.
planning commission. If it needs something, it's something special, not, I don't know.
No, you've got zoning regulations. If it meets the zoning regulations, it doesn't come.
Right. So if I wanted to build a garage, right, for example, that was code in the zoning regulations, I just gotta go to Dustin or whomever and say I wanna build a garage, right?
You get a building.
And a building, right? But if I wanna do something very large outside of that,
Yeah, but what if it's only 2 foot bigger?
well, I'm not saying,
If that's an
I'm not
that's an
saying
example.
all of these. I think we
Okay.
have to go through every one of them
Okay.
to determine what's applicable or not. But 2 feet,
Who cares?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong opinion either way on that.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe it does matter. Maybe 2 feet does matter in some instances. I don't know, but that's why that's why we're here.
Well, that's why they have setbacks and side yard rules and all that stuff.
Right.
Right,
That's
then,
what we're
you know what,
saying.
then let's just leave it
If
alone.
we set those rules, and he's saying that without going to us, they can
Right.
deviate
Follow
from
the
the rules.
process. I agree.
I'm looking at it different. I don't think he's deviating from them because he knows he can't go so far to toward a setback or a side yard. What if it's encroaching into?
That's what this is asking for them to do that. To deviate by 10%, 20%,
Without having to come before the planning commission.
right. But they're in the rules right now that they have to be, within the 20, or outside the 20 feet or whatever. And he's wanting to be able to make that 16 feet. So if 16 feet is okay, then why wouldn't you just change the zoning regulation?
Can you?
The commission and governing body can.
Yeah, are we?
We're done.
So each one of these, you want a motion?
We're not doing a vote because we have to have a public hearing before we have a vote.
Okay.
All we're doing is
okay.
discussing.
Oh, okay. We're up here looking for a
People are
motion.
worked up over
Alright,
just a
okay.
discussion.
Okay.
So,
Well, we're having great discussion.
Yeah.
Well, that was, we covered that one. Let's go to.
oh, no, I've got.
So I would address
That's what we
that.
talked about. Yeah, I'm going to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the next one here, this one is going to be the highway corridor signage paper. So part of the discussion that we, in February, if you remember, we talked about signs for a property for Casey's. We would like to add maximum aggregate sign area in the highway corridor next to adjacent, we have to figure out that depth away from that overpass on Woodlawn. We don't want the whole area to be really tall. Nothing's been changed. We discussed this earlier at a staff meeting earlier today. We all agreed that it has to be closer to that overpass where they're gonna need those taller signs up to 85 feet.
But if it was
Everywhere
on-
else along
yeah.
the corridor,
If
we
it's
just
like
have to
a
figure out
page,
that
like-
area of distance. Well, the maximum sign area would be 35 feet instead of 25 and 30 feet. Give them an extra 5 feet of sign height.
Can I ask for clarification? You stated in the council meeting that it was the entire corridor for the highway, all of the city boundaries. So
We
now
don't
you're
know, it's
not
just a
saying that.
discussion. We're just having a discussion.
No, I'm asking him for clarification because he's already made a comment in the city council meeting that doesn't line up with what he's saying now. So you said the entire highway corridor inside the city boundaries along 254. So I would like clarification what you're actually
Nothing's
talking
been
about.
set in stone. These are all ideas
Okay.
for,
But are
for
you
that type of
presenting to
discussion.
them a certain area or
I'm not
the
presenting
entire?
anything. I'm just putting
Okay.
stuff up for discussion.
Okay.
When we have a public hearing on this,
Okay.
that's when things will be presented to them.
Okay.
And then the mayor can show up then as well and
Okay.
present and everything else and influence, just like you are.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I do have one question.
Yeah.
Let me think of this.
So how big of signs are allowed out there on the highway now?
A lot, let's see here. Maximum sign area shall be limited to 200 square feet, in addition to the maximum aggregate sign area, and sign height. minimum spacing, let's see, sign shall be located with 100 feet. I believe it says 25 feet or 30 feet.
On down.
Where?
I know, there's different
Sign height.
That's what we should be, this is what we have now.
25 to 35 feet maximum height for similar zoning districts. C1, 30 feet, 30-foot tall sign with lots having at least 50 feet, 30 feet along the frontage that have frontage on the highway.
I know what the question is. So, doesn't the state have requirements too that they can't, or that you have to meet as far as signage along the highway?
No.
They don't?
I'm pretty sure they do.
Because I had to go to Detroit City for
business.
Kechi sign myself between Webb and Rock. I had to go down to the department, or the highway patrol,
Is that KDOT?
KDOT,
Yeah, that's,
to get approval.
that's a different thing.
Okay.
So I mean, they do have requirements, and I don't know what those are.
Okay. If it's a sign within the right-of-way of the road, I'm sure they do. But when it's in the city of Kechi, it's the city of Kechi's regulations and the county's regulations that take place. But once it goes into the right-of-way,
No, you might double check, because
okay,
that sign is actually on private property.
okay,
And they did allow it because it was already there.
okay,
And so it was grandfathered in. But they do have requirements for what you can put along the side of the highway.
okay.
I would just double check on that.
Can do.
Any other discussion? I wasn't here for that, so I don't know. So, what were you looking for on this? This was, so you were for, to be able to prove 10%
That was on the other one?
up to, well, I got the highway or assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Says this would allow you to approve increases in sign regulations up to 10% in every zoning district.
Where are you seeing that at?
On the second paragraph.
Background.
Second paragraph, okay. Okay, that's, I believe, that is what's in the regulations right now.
Right. We're wanting to go above 10%, right? Or at least that's what this is, the amendment is saying. Right.
Well, for the administrative adjustments, it would
We
be
recommend including sign.
increasing maximum sign regulations by up to 10%.
Oh, well, so this is, for adding the 10% to the
Yes.
first one. This is justifying why you want 10% for this.
Right. And this is discussion, if there's like a distance that you guys know of that you want outside of that overpass to where signs can only be 35 feet tall or anything, please let me know.
Any questions?
All right. Comprehensive plan review.
Yeah, one little question, on the verbiage, it's up ahead of it. It said that it's not going to be a truck stop, but they need this so trucks can see the sign ahead enough to be able to slow down. It seems like it's a little contradictory there.
Well, a truck stop is where they would be parking all night and resting. This is just to fuel up and get them back on the road.
Okay,
It's not a full-blown truck stop.
I got you.
Yeah.
So it would be truck traffic coming in and going.
Oh, for sure.
So it's a truck stop.
I mean, your definition of a truck stop might be different than mine, but mine's always been that they can park all night.
fuel islands for big trucks?
Yeah.
Then it's a truck stop.
Yes, it's just
Okay.
not an overnight.
If they don't have, like the one in Kechi, it has a diesel pump. but they don't have diesel fuel islands for big trucks.
Okay,
Like if you go
They
down
just
to
don't have
Lowe's,
parking, is
Love's,
what he's saying.
right on I-35,
I don't know.
and there's all those trucks sitting out back where they stop and they stay for, I don't know how long. Overnight. That's
Which
it.
part of the
Overnight,
Which part of the regulations are we talking about?
right? We're just trying to understand what a truck stop is.
Yeah, I think we need a good definition here.
Yeah.
Well,
Where's
then we
that?
need
Where's
to go
where's that?
backwards.
I didn't mention anything about a truck stop. I don't think.
Where are you reading that off of?
Page 1 of 4, letting,
On the minutes?
Board zoning appeals. Yeah,
Minutes were already approved.
right, I was just asking for clarification. I think you gave it clarification.
Okay.
Okay.
Comprehensive plan. Kechi grew faster than predicted. Population projections in the 2010 comprehensive plan predicted the 2035 population would hit 2,800. By 2021, the population was already 2,949. You can see the median age dropped by about 2 years back at 2022. We've got race and ethnicity adjustments. Educational attainment, less than 9th grade. It was 2%, now it's only 1.3%. High school graduates have gone down. Bachelor's degrees have gone up. Median household income has gone up by about 25,000. Total households, we were at 701, now we're at 961. City services. The conclusion that came up was Kechi is growing quickly, becoming more diverse, and is increasingly attractive for average to high earning families. City services are being regularly updated by the city, and the city should be able to rely on the 2023 water and sewer master plans for the foreseeable future. So things are looking good there. And the last one here is the advisability of duplex percentage caps.
So this is just for info.
This is just.
Yes,
you know,
that was the review that we came up with for the comprehensive plan, so we don't have to adjust anything out of the comp plan.
Okay.
Unless you guys want to, if you guys found something.
Yeah, what is the definition of non-family?
Don't know. Pete and Steve helped put this together. I'm not exactly sure what non-family is.
Like one person, maybe?
Could be.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Where do you see?
Over here on the back, when we're, right above city services, there's still the demographics here. Percentage of households that are non-family.
Well, the other one. Yeah.
Family.
Roommates. It's roommates. Roommates. That's what it says. Roommates.
Roommates.
So I would guess.
Go ahead.
Okay. Some cities wish to cap or limit the number of duplexes allowed to be built in city limits, usually as a percentage of the overall housing units available. While this has historically been legal in Kansas, a recent bill has changed this. Senate Bill number 418 includes the By Right Housing Development Act. The purpose of this act is to promote housing development that otherwise would be caught up in unnecessary regulatory processes. This is aimed at addressing the statewide housing stock shortage and affordability crisis. The act defines single-family homes as standalone and duplex housing. According to the Senate bill, all proposed housing developments that meet the criteria in a city's zoning regulations and the specific criteria in the bill shall be approved by right without discretionary approval. The new bill functionally prohibits a limit on the number of duplexes that can be built within the city limits. There are also portions of the bill that should trigger an update to the Kechi zoning regulations. These can be discussed at a different time. For more information about Senate bill, we recommend the website Bill Tracking in Kansas. So right now, it's looking like we can't cap duplexes that come into the city. We're checking into it right now, but we think that there can be a cap placed on them in a roundabout way of what we allow to be developed within the city, as in zoning. If it's R1, R1 does allow for duplexes, but it has to be done by a conditional use. It could go against what it says. It has to be approved by right, but we still need to look at it before we can say that we can limit the number of duplexes that come within the city. It's nothing that is off the table right now. We're still looking at it. Willing to hear your ideas, things of that nature. Feel free to always
City,
email
just
me.
like right here, not like over, because you have rural parts of Kechi, correct?
Yeah,
So that's not considered the city, is it?
It is.
it is.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as if it's in the city limits, it's part of the city.
If it's annexed.
Yeah.
So Sunnydale as well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically saying, when we do it, when we approve or disapprove a duplex or addition, we need to consider this. Second,
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the city attorney will weigh
Yes.
in until we have more clarification.
Right. Yeah. So, but right now we don't have any plats coming in or anything else that would require a conditional use for duplexes, except for the Kano's addition. You guys approved that one. It's waiting to go to city council before it needs to have some changes made to it before it goes to city council, as we discussed here. That one out.
I got two questions. One, do you know when Casey's gonna start that one?
No, I do not. We're thinking later this year, could be early next year.
Okay.
Gonna have to wait on your pizza.
So Dustin, on the SB 418, are you gonna also talk about accessory dwelling units in single family zoning? They have to be allowed.
Okay.
So I don't know if do you know that about the bill? I mean, that's gonna be something else that could start coming before.
Okay.
Let's see, I didn't entertain a motion, but, oh, I know what the other question is. This corner lot, how long are you gonna, it keeps being put on hold?
Kechi corner.
Oh, this
Do you know what he's doing?
No idea what he's doing. He's just waiting for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain a motion, then.
I so move.
A second.
Motion by Astor, second by Eric to adjourn. All in favor? Motion carried.